Hello, welcome to this evening's iMeditate, pre-recorded because it's like an oven in here, and probably where you are too. We're looking very nice, very gentle. In fact, there's very little to do with this evening. I think it's a nice follow-on to our looking at overwhelm. To this session, it stands alone, but it's about tranquility and inner peace. So I'm not going to do a talk about what that is because it's different for all of us. So we're just going to get straight into this hypnotic session. Have a fidget, get comfortable. If you need to pause the playing of this for that, then take your time with that. And then I'll begin by inviting you to take 3 wonderful deep breaths in. Breathing in, hold it, breathe out. Breathing in, hold it, breathe out. Breathing in, hold it, and breathe out. If you've not done so already, just allow your eyes to close, because there's nothing you need to achieve during the next little while. Nothing to get right. Nothing to force. In fact, one of the pleasant discoveries people often make is that the less they try to relax, the more relaxation seems to find them, all by itself. So simply allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position, making any small adjustments that help your body feel supported. Knowing that through this experience, you remain completely in control, able to listen to my voice, or perhaps allow it to drift comfortably into the background whenever your own thoughts become more interesting. You may already have noticed the rhythm of your breathing, or perhaps that awareness will come a little later. And it really doesn't matter which happens first, because your breathing has been with you since the first moment of your life. Quietly continuing, without needing your conscious attention. And just as your breathing knows exactly what to do. Perhaps another part of your mind already knows how to begin settling into a quiet and more peaceful state. Sometimes people notice that relaxation begins in the body. A softening around the shoulders, or the jaw, or the hands. Others first notice a slowing of the mind, where thoughts that once seemed so important begin gently drifting by. Like clouds passing across a wide summer sky. And whichever way your experience unfolds, it will be exactly the right way for you. You may become aware of the gentle weight of your body being supported, or the feeling of your clothes resting comfortably against your skin. Or the sounds around you. Those distant sounds that don't interrupt your experience at all. But instead remind you that you can relax here, now. while life quietly continues around you. And it's rather curious that the more you stop trying to hold on to every thought, the more your thoughts seem perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. Like leaves floating along the surface of a slow-moving stream, appearing, drifting, and disappearing again, without requiring anything from you. And somewhere between one breath and the next, you may begin to notice little moments of quiet. Perhaps only for an instant, perhaps for a little longer. Tiny spaces between thoughts. Gentle pauses that have always been there, waiting to be noticed. And there really is no need to create those spaces. Simply becoming aware that they exist can be enough. As your breathing continues in its own comfortable rhythm, you may find yourself wondering whether your body will relax first, allowing the mind to follow. Or whether your mind will become quieter first, allowing the body to soften naturally. And while one part of you remains aware of my voice, another part can begin wondering, exploring, discovering its own comfortable way of entering this pleasant state of inner absorption. There's nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to become. Just this moment, this breath, this growing sense of comfort. As your conscious mind gradually becomes less interested in analysing every word, and more interested in simply experiencing whatever your unconscious mind chooses to discover. And as that happens, whether gradually or surprisingly quickly, you can simply allow yourself to drift a little deeper into a state of quiet awareness, where the journey towards deep tranquility and inner peace has already begun. And perhaps, without consciously deciding to do so, you may begin to notice yourself arriving somewhere. Not because you chose the place, not because you needed to imagine it, but because the unconscious mind has a rather remarkable way of finding exactly the experience that is needed. For some people, it becomes a familiar landscape. For others, it may be somewhere entirely unexpected, and for some, it is simply a feeling, a quiet sense of being exactly where they need to be. There is no right place. Only your place. A place where nothing is expected of you. Nothing needs fixing. Nothing needs solving. Nothing needs carrying. You may notice the quality of the light there, or perhaps the air, or perhaps only the sense that time seems to move differently here. Not slower, not faster, simply without urgency. It's curious how different life can feel when urgency quietly fades away. Perhaps there's somewhere to sit, or somewhere to stand. Perhaps a tree or a quiet stream, or open countryside stretching into the distance. Or perhaps none of those things at all. Your unconscious has no obligation to follow anyone else's imagination. It simply creates what is right for you. And as you become more familiar with this place, you may begin to notice something even more interesting. This place has never really been outside you. It has always been part of you. Perhaps forgotten from time to time. Perhaps hidden beneath the busyness of everyday life, yet never absent, just like the stillness at the centre of a turning wheel, remaining completely undisturbed. However quickly the rim may be spinning around, or like the deep ocean, where the surface may rise and fall with the weather, while far below, everything remains beautifully calm. There is something profoundly reassuring about discovering that tranquility is not something we create. It is something we uncover as layers of hurry, expectation, responsibility, and constant doing quietly settle. What has always been there becomes easier to notice. Perhaps you become aware of a feeling, or perhaps simply a knowing. That this quiet place has been patiently waiting for you all along. Never demanding your attention, never disappearing, simply remaining available. And every visit makes it more familiar. Every moment spent here gently strengthens the pathway back. Not because you're trying to remember it, but because the unconscious mind remembers places of safety remarkably well. It knows how to return. Sometimes by noticing a single comfortable breath, sometimes by becoming aware of your feet upon the ground, sometimes through a familiar feeling that quietly says, "I'm home." And perhaps that is the greatest discovery of all. Not that life will never become busy, it will. Not that there will never be difficult days, there will. But that somewhere beneath every experience, beneath every thought, beneath every emotion, there remains this quiet place, unaffected, steady, patient, always ready to welcome you back. And you may wonder whether you'll find yourself remembering this place tomorrow, or perhaps sometimes next week, when life unexpectedly pauses for just a moment, and something within you quietly recognizes this feeling, this steadiness, this gentle balance. Not because you consciously try to remember, but because some learnings become part of who we are, rather than something we have to think about. And as that understanding settles, in whatever way is most natural for you, you can simply allow yourself to enjoy these next few quiet moments, saying nothing, doing nothing, expecting nothing, simply resting within the deep tranquility and quiet inner peace that has always been yours. That's right. And in a few moments you can begin to return to your ordinary waking awareness, bringing back everything that is useful, everything that is valuable, and leaving behind anything that simply isn't needed. Because your unconscious mind has a remarkable ability to keep what serves you, often long after the conscious mind has forgotten exactly how the learning happened. And you may become curious whether you'll first notice this growing sense of deep tranquility during some quiet moment later this evening, today, or perhaps tomorrow, when life pauses just for an instant and something within you quietly remembers. Or perhaps you'll discover that rather than remembering it, you simply realize that it never left. That beneath every thought, beneath every emotion, beneath every busy day there remains that quiet place of calm and balance, always present, always available, always part of who you are. And whether you find yourself becoming more aware of that quiet in tranquility each time you take a comfortable breath, or each time you simply pause for even the briefest moment, really doesn't matter, because every pathway leads to the same quiet place within. And every visit, however brief, naturally strengthens your connection with it. So that over the coming days and weeks, you may notice yourself responding a little differently, pausing a little more naturally, breathing a little more comfortably, meeting situations with a little more steadiness. Not because you're trying to, but because some discoveries become woven quietly into the fabric of who we are. And as that gentle learning continues, you can begin returning now, bringing with you a growing connection to that deep tranquility and inner peace, knowing that it remains with you wherever you go, whatever you do, like a quiet companion, always there, waiting patiently to be noticed. And now beginning to bring a little more energy back into your body, perhaps becoming aware of the support surface supporting you, the sounds around you, the room you're in, allowing your breathing to become a little fuller, perhaps gently move your fingers, your toes, stretching in whatever way feels comfortable. And when you're ready, allowing your eyes to open, feeling refreshed, clear, present, and carrying with you the quiet certainty that the deep tranquility you've experienced here today is no longer simply a place you visit, but a part of you that travels wherever you go. Wonderful. Fabulous. So fully back, stretch, fidget, feel good. Hope you've enjoyed that today, and I will look forward to seeing you next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.